All right, buckle up. We are going to have a spiritual butt kick today. Yeah, hey, have you missed that? All right, I'm going to give you a spiritual butt kick for one reason. It's time for you to know what you are and what your responsibility is toward our final chapter here, which, by the way, could be thousands of years. That's a moving target. I'm going to talk about the final chapter. It seems to be a subject everybody wants to hear about. And you're going to hear about it in a way that is proven that you and I have a lot to say about that final chapter. You ready? Let's go. All right, fanning myself because you guys don't like my fan on, even though it's super quiet. You can hear a hum. I just got off of my rower rowing on the Charles River in Boston. Yes, virtual technology is amazing. You know, we're closer now than we've ever been before, yet further away because of that. And that's our own choice. So back in the day, you know, people really needed each other a lot more. The N word that I don't usually say, but need is a word coming up more and more because if we don't go into community, we won't survive. Now I want to talk about what that community is because I've talked constantly about the number one thing that is causing us to stay in struggle is separation. And that is the ego wanting what it wants, calling people, you know, wrong, labeling, separating, and that is the number one reason that comes from fear. And you guys know, I teach this, right? And the things that are happening with my students that you're going to learn today in this video is that when you shift your mind, your own life changes drastically, and those problems you had, they dissolve because you realize they really weren't problems at all. And then you start to seek solutions and have a different mindset that attracts different things. It doesn't actually attract, you just shift into it. But then all of a sudden, other people respond differently to you. We don't have control over how other people respond. Now, the ego doesn't like that. So the ego says you need to respond a certain way or think a certain way or dress a certain way, right? Low frequency. Oh my gosh, seriously? I mean, are you going to go into the pearly gates? You know, let's just say the pearly gates and say, okay, well, you know what? They were doing this and they were doing this, and the one's going to say, who do you think made them? Who do you think created them? Oh, well, you did? Yeah. How do you think I feel about them? Unconditional love? Yeah. How do I think about you who's judging them? Unconditional love? Yeah. So where do we get off judging anybody? Now I'm going to talk about the Maharishi effect because this is what our final chapter is going to look like, right? So I want to share something with you that's very disturbing. And so part of your focus on positivity actually changes the planet and the consciousness to a higher frequency. Now, at the same time, you can't just sit there and watch all rosy things. You have to say, okay, if there's an issue, I have to be the solution. Not just watching it and talking about it. You have to be the action person that says, you know what am I going to do about it? So there's this fine line. Now, I am a moderator on my neighborhood email, it's not really email, site. It's a site where everybody gets on and says, hey, my car got broken into last night, or what's happening on the beach? You know, I saw people gathering, or, you know, or all everything you can imagine. As a moderator, I have to decide whether or not we remove certain comments. I have to tell you what was really blowing my mind and getting exposed to things that I didn't realize existed. People sitting in their homes who normally wouldn't be out there on social media and other things are, I'd say 95% of them respond in such a negative way. I'll give you an example. A woman wanted to relocate her dogs because her and her husband are moving to Honduras. So getting the dogs there and keeping them there, and it just doesn't make any sense. So she wants to put them in a good home here in the United States. She got on this site to ask for assistance to find a really loving home. And I'd say 90% of the comments were criticism, judgment, nastiness. And so I got on there and said, you know, that our neighbor asked us for help. She made a decision, whether you approve or not. She's just asking for our help as a neighbor. Can you help her or not? If not, then perhaps we should not respond. And of course, I got a lot of hearts for that. But that's what happens every day, isn't it? Right? A situation happens, and we, as human beings, sitting on our couches or wherever, become the critic of people out there that we know nothing about or their situation. She had some very, very valid reasons for leaving the dogs here in a loving home, because she loved them. Transport, it doesn't really matter. It was her decision. But the bottom line is we think we know everything about other people. We become authorities and judgmental. And that is absolutely taking us down. And when I saw how rampant it was on every single post, this went on in every single post, and then neighbors calling each other names, and swearing, and it's so out of control. And I thought, this is my neighborhood. This is going on in my neighborhood, and it's going on in everyone, because I was a moderator in Atlanta, and I thought maybe it's just Atlanta because that's a city. Now, it's everywhere. Are you doing that? Are you contributing? Yeah, the Maharishi effect proves, and I want to give you some real hope. Hope, to me, you either are or you aren't, but I'm going to use the word hope because I want you to know that we have a choice. Hope means there's a possibility, and there is. And so we can go and shift into the future that is amazing. And it only takes 1% of us. Where'd they come up with that number? The Maharishi effect. It is a group of people that prayed on a specific city area and just sent blessings and love. No judgment, trying to control anybody, nothing like that. Just really high frequency, sending light and love. The crime, the deaths, the illnesses, everything went way down, noticeably, like 30%. It could have been more. They did this for 3 years. And it was so noticeable, the authorities recognized that this couldn't be a coincidence. After 3 years, when they quit, it all went back up. What is that? You and I can influence the entire plan. We do. It's not we can. We do. 24/7, because we're one thing, and you're not overriding free will. You are influencing. I'm an influencer, right? What happens when you come to my channel? What if I have a really positive video, and all of a sudden I present something, and you start to think a little differently by your choice that's maybe a little bit more expansive and loving? I influenced you, and you can do the same thing. You're an influencer every single day with your thought. Now, my students, I said, who got up this morning and was thankful and thanked the universe? Pretty much everybody, and everybody does it. All my students, not a coincidence. A couple of them said that they don't do it every morning. I said, well, we have to do it every morning. It's not just something you do, and oh, it may or may not affect. It doesn't, because we don't see things, we don't understand the profound effect that we have on one another. Now, I'm going to do a video. I've talked a lot about time. Time doesn't exist. I was told that. We're one thing. Your thought is not just affecting everybody simultaneously, separately. You're just one thing. The whole consciousness goes up or down. It expands or, you know, stays there in neutrality. We never go into nothingness. Well, we can go into nothingness, but we cannot be destroyed. We have always been. We always will be. We are just transitioning and transforming into different forms. And you're always transforming. You're always expanding. What are you expanding into? The future, what they're doing right now, is affecting us, and we're affecting them. They're aware of it. We're too dense to understand that, right? We're not advanced enough to understand that. Because I told you about an actual experiment when somebody did Ho'oponopono. I hope I pronounced that right. Over the files in a mental institution, I believe it was. Not getting all my facts straight all the time, but the point is, what I'm telling you is absolutely true. A doctor did this over files, not knowing whose files were whose, 2 stacks, opened them after a period of time, and the ones that he prayed over either were cured or released from the hospital. The other ones did not. Okay, they stayed the same or got worse. Here's the interesting part. They were all files from the past. From the past. He was affecting the past through his prayers now. He's the future that was affecting the past. Somewhere that reality existed. This is you and I. That reality existed, and he was affecting them. Somewhere, someone, 5,000 years from now, is praying for us, is sending their light and love and, you know, their wishes for us to make higher choices. But we still get to do that. We can do that for our past, and we can do it for our future. All of it exists right now. It's a circle, and it all changes. All of it, past, present, and future, and everything in between, because it's all present moment, actually, changes with your thought. It's one thing either going expansive or in turmoil and struggle. Now, if you do this every day, and I do, I send my light and love, and in all of my meditations, and those of you in my miracle circle, we've actually had miracles happen. Spontaneous healings, crazy stuff happens. If you want to join it, it's a monthly miracle circle. You guys can check it out here. These are free things here. You can see if you like it or not, but we actually, in the miracle circle, the whole point is that we create a circle of light and love, and we surround the planet with it. Now, we don't say, I want you to heal, or I want you to do this. We just send our light and love, because everything within the roles that are playing out on the planet right now are our individual, seemingly individual privileges to appear as individual experiences and know certain things. I get to know being a teacher. You get to know maybe you know, a loss of a loved one, or you get to know whatever. We all get to know different things, and it's not just one thing either. So we want to allow that to play out, but by sending our light and love, we affect everyone's choices within their own experience. All right? So somebody who's thinking of robbing a home may sit there and think, I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't feel good. And therefore, what's going to happen? They make a different choice, and they may not even know why. But we affected them because we sent love, and there's nothing more powerful than unconditional love, even to the murderer. That's what Christ did. So those of you say, well, I can forgive these people, but not those. Okay, you might want to work on that. And if you're a Christian, read the Bible. I've never read the Bible, because I already know that we are absolutely perfect, unconditionally loved, and that everyone is us. And that all we have to do is know that and come into every situation with compassion without judgment. You're going to have your opinion. You're a human being. It's going to happen. You're going to have feelings. You're going to have pain, and you're going to be angry sometimes. Dalai Lama gets angry. All of these things are going to be a part of your experience. That's the whole point of being here, is to know that. It's your response that's so important. So that person who's being a jackass is coming from pain and fear. And they came from experiences, and they came from parents that were, you know, messed up, and they came from abuse. And it's just a chain reaction, and you have to break the chain. We have to break the chain if we want to go into that massively amazing future illusion that exists right now. All of us can, and that doesn't take all of the planet. It takes 1% of us. That's how powerful we are, because light will always affect darkness. But when you're in light and you're in an enlightened state, no darkness can affect you. Think about this. Darkness is ego-driven. So anything that you do, it feels threatened by, because it's in fear. When you're in light, you are threatened by nothing. Therefore, nothing has power over you. That's why we're more powerful as our original light beings. And letting the ego go, we know And we see everything in that beauty, and that love and that light supersedes everything. You can't bring darkness into a light room. What? No, you can't. You can't bring it in. You'd have to shut the light completely out, and it's impossible. But you can bring light in a dark room. I can walk in with a candle and light up the whole room. That's the power of light. You are that power. You're that power. And the only darkness that you have right now are the veils of the illusion and the beliefs. Those are beliefs and beliefs, separation, judgment, all the things. And as soon as you pull them off, you realize, whoa, whoa, holy cow. By the way, it's tough to function on that level sometimes. I'll talk about that in another video. But you can do it. Spiritual butt kick. And you know what? If they're this, shut your pie hole. Because those words are powerful. And that hurts them. I want you to think of them as a little baby. That's a little baby. Putting their hands out and saying, I just want love. And crying, Mommy. And you saying you are ugly or evil or bad. Is that what you want to do? Now, pick that baby up and love them. And say, you know, okay, you're crying. It's okay. Because we're all in it together. Can you do that? I know you can. You have that power. Are you the 1%? You're not a chosen one. Everyone's chosen. That's a separation too in a name. The chosen ones, they're just light beings here with different missions. You're chosen. Everyone is. Because we're not separate. And when we realize and we stop naming each other as better or worse, or those are the ones that know everything. Everyone knows everything. Everything else is the illusion. And when you realize that, it dissolves. And you go see that light in everything, including that boss or that neighbor or that person who's angry and frustrated. I hope that you'll share my videos. Please subscribe. It really helps me out a lot because it puts me on the map with YouTube and introduces me to people who might want these messages, who don't even know I exist. These are free. This is an email list, and you're going to get a meditation from the Miracle Circle for free. You're going to get a mobile app for free. You'll get a 2-hour proven steps to manifest anything. I'm sorry, 1 hour free masterclass from me. And you can also come work with me if you want to. It's a choice for you. We're doing amazing things. It's worth it. Are you ready for it? You're so beautiful and amazing. If you only knew what you were. Oh, the gateways would open up and nothing here would threaten you. And you'd see the beauty and the purpose in even the most horrific situations. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.